Okay, now on to the next topic, our episode. Streets will never forget. Obviously, we've come up with 4 players. Everyone's picked these 4 players. I think it's Michu season in the Premier League. Hatton Ben Arfa in the Premier League. Adel Taarabt in the Championship. And Robinho in the Premier League. Obviously, I picked Robinho because obviously you can see it. Anyway, but guys, we're going to talk about the season. What are you shaking your head for? We're going to talk about season.
Oh no, Robinho's a bit. I think that's nostalgia for you because he's Premier League fan was a bit.
What? No one else agrees on the Robinho pick.
Bro. I'm Robinho's biggest fan, and I wouldn't even include him.
I'm saying, but like you got like guys like I think Company was in that team. Bellamy, Elano. Yeah, they were more better performers for Man City than Robinho. And that Bellamy.
Even Rat Phillips, fam. Rat Phillips.
What we're not gonna do is listen.
No, we're not gonna. Much better than that.
You've brought him in to discredit him. That's what you've basically done because we're gonna focus on his City career, which was piss poor. What are we doing?
No, it wasn't. Are you man dumb?
All right, let's go.
We're starting. This is recorded. Without Robinho in that Man City team, Man City would have never won the league. Right?
But, stop it. You're injuring my chest. Stop it.
Listen, Robinho brought the style into Man City. He brought it into there. That's introduced everyone to come into. That introduced.
But let me say something, Ben. Do you know what you're doing right now, Ben?
All of these guys to come.
Ben, do you know what you're doing right now? You see the sprinkle cake here? Do you know what the nicest ingredient in the sprinkle cake is?
What is
nostalgia. The sprinkle cake is not that nice. It just reminds me of my childhood, so I like it. That's what it is. Sprinkle cake is not that nice. Robinho at Man City is not that great. Like, really wasn't that good. Nostalgia.
Alright, listen, let's not get tired. Robinho was world class at Madrid, but not City, man. Not City. Ben, you know this. Alright, cool. Love that. Sorry.
Okay, everyone remembers Michu at his Swansea career.
Yeah.
Let me see the stats here.
You're an Arsenal.
Games, 18 goals. Overall, he played 43 games and scored 22 goals. Obviously, the goals doesn't look that obviously mad.
So who's this we're talking about, sir?
Michu.
Okay.
But that guy was a beast. Everyone knows that guy was an absolute beast. Going to Adrian. Adrian, give me your first memories of Michu.
All you got to see is that haunts me every single time I see this. It haunted me. I remember the first time we played him. I think he was up against Ferdinand, and he just tore Ferdinand left, right, and I was like, who is this Don? His left foot and his movement was so. Do you know what? When you watch him play, he didn't look natural at times. Like when he hit the ball, it looked natural, but when he was like movement and he had the ball, it was a bit like, what car places, and they got those big. What are they called?
Them car dealership bunny thing.
Yeah, that's how he moved. That's how he moved. And I was just like, who is this guy? But he just kept on banging there. And he haunted United. I actually think that he was the main reason I didn't like Swansea. That was the one team I hated playing, and it was mainly because of Michu. But he was a bad man. Top scorer as well. All types of finishes.
Yeah.
Right. Give me your first thought on Michu when you were playing. What do you remember about him?
You say Ty?
Yeah, you Ty.
How he used to kill Arsenal all the time. I loved it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was saying he didn't even. Arsenal was the main team, not even Man United. It was Arsenal.
Arsenal are the team that could not handle the way. Come on now. I feel like Ben knows this as well, man. You know it. You know it.
Obviously, he was nice and all, like, against us, it was nice and all. But he scored bare baggers. Like, against Arsenal, like, he done us 30 still, let me not lie. I think he was, like, up against Thomas Vermaelen and that. Like, them man struggled. Like, I thought these men were the best defenders in the league, but these men struggled hard still. This guy was a killer. Like, he was ice cold still, like. And he's Spanish. One of them guys, like, you're thinking, give him a little bit of weights, like, give him one of them little challenges. Was fair from it, but he was on it still. He was on it. Peter, did he score against you, like Liverpool?
I don't remember him scoring. You might have to be fair. He scored. I think he scored against everyone that. But like, just in terms of when he first came into the league, I just saw like very like I don't know. It's quite big. quite strong for like a Spanish. Normally, the Spanish players are quite like they got quite like just not as physically imposing as he was. Like, especially the main thing like that man remembers is how good he was at headering. Like, he was a really good header of the ball. Like, he's one of them ones who'll sneak up on you and like just get to the ball. Like, he's scored a lot of headers.
Nosa. Tell me about Michu. Tell the fans about your memories.
Mitchell was a bad boy still. Like, you know what I like about two players? Like, when two players can like dribble the ball, like move the ball well, innit? I like that about like quite two players. Like, it just shows how good he was technically, and obviously, just going again what Peter says, like he was so good at heading the ball, like that. The way he headed the ball, he scored against Chelsea like a couple times as well, which like it scarred me small because I didn't like Swansea at the time as well. But you know, he done his thing. 18 plus goals in his debut season. I think they bought him for like 2 million, innit? Or 2 million or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, he was a bargain. He was still. But it was, for me, I just knew it was one of them players that he can't replicate that. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I agree with Nosa still. I feel like Michu's the biggest, he's the biggest summary of how much, like, people don't think confidence plays a big part in football. Confidence plays the mental side of football is so important. Like, when you're confident, like that, everything you touch turns to gold. Like, everything he touched in that season turned to gold. Like, he was just so confident. Like, when he stepped on the pitch, he truly believed he was going to score. He truly believed he was going to, like, tear out the defence. And that just, Michu's just the biggest. Because if I think about it, to be honest, he's not really, like, got mad attributes. Like, I can't say he's so good at this thing or he's so good at that thing or, like, he's just confidence in it. That really, I think Swansea played around him, built their team around him, and he was just confident, and they made him the man. And yeah, that was his season, boy.
Speaking on that, Swansea won the League Cup that season still. I think that was the season that we was meant to win it, but we lost against Bradford still. So I'm gonna move on from that.
Wait, was Boney there at the time or not?
Nah, he come after still.
Okay.
It was
wasn't Boney at City at that point or something?
No, I think he came after to replace him. I think.
After.
It was Michu, Nathan Dyer, and
Danny Graham.
Wayne Routledge, Danny Graham,
Routledge.
Yeah.
That's it.
Leon Britton.
I don't know how
Proper
them man
players.
won the League Cup.
Rogers.
They were good. They were a good side. They were a good side.
It was Michael Laudrup, whatever his name is.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's who won it.
Yeah, the Danish one.
Michu's debut season, he won the League Cup next season. And yeah, man, good team.
But yeah, serious. Shout out to Michu. I don't know where you are right now, but
yeah, I think that's with Michu. There's not really much analysis you can do with it. He had a freak season. I think just generally he had a freak season.
Give him credit for getting called up to Spain as well.
Yeah,
give him credit.
And Arsenal didn't buy him as well. Lucky Arsenal didn't buy him.
You think?
Lucky.
No, was in for him, bro.
But you never know. You never know. You could have signed him and he could have stayed the player that he was. You know what I mean? You just
true.
Some like Peter was saying, it's confidence in my opinion. If he goes to a team like Arsenal and he fits in, he doesn't feel like he's like a player that's stepping up. Do you know what I mean? Rather than feeling like a player that's stepping up.
But I feel like what you said. Sorry, you see that what you said. Teams the next season will start to prepare for him, so they'll have a game plan where like two players are on him. So now your quality really has to show. Like, can you really get away from these two players? Like, you see with Salah, Salah, the first season took everyone by surprise. Got like how many goals, 40-something goals. The second season, he still got goals, but like there's a difference because every team is literally suited to like marking Salah. Like, how can we stop Salah?
Yeah.
Mitchell would have got that, and then we would have to see they still got the quality to.
But that's the difference between a team like Swansea and Arsenal. If he stays at Swansea, it almost feels like what happened. Yeah. Teams mark him out, and obviously it's going to be hard for him to create that same space that he would have had in the first season.
Yeah.
If he goes to a team like Arsenal, and they leave him or they double him, then you got space for Pepe. You got space for, you know what I mean.
But Arsenal weren't really crossing that's the era where not like Arsenal had like quite a. They were quite technical team.
They wasn't that strong.
It was like through balls. It was like
it was Arsenal's Wenger ball, where it's very like tic-tac-a.
I thought but Michu was good enough to do that. He was a good player. He was very technical. Very technical, and he didn't need too many touches on the ball. He could easily just play a pass, quick 1-2, get a shot off. Headers in the box, like Peter said. he was very good at it. It's not
He could do what Van Persie done. Let's just say that. Like,
No, he couldn't.
I'm not saying. G. Relax. You might relax.
This is the hot take.
Oh, you're crack.
This is the hot take.
Relax.
Go.
G, I'm not saying that. Okay, he'll do exactly what Van Persie done with the carrying the team on his back, having arthritis at a young age and all that shit. But I'm just saying that. I'm saying what Van Persie done, yeah. What Van Persie done.
Wait. I just want to say something, yeah. I just want to say one thing, yeah. What's cool? When we uploaded a video, the week Nosa wasn't here, one of our viewers was like, "No arrogant, no view," and now I know why. He said, "No arrogant, no view," and I said, "Now I know why." Because you give hot takes like that.
Anyway, as I was saying, you remember, like Michu, he's got the fundamentals to like do what Van Persie could have done. Like you with Greenwood to Van Persie. Do you know what I'm saying? That's you see what you can see, like the visual aspects of it. The visual aspects of it. Oh, you might not. You guys don't see. I'm a visionary. Fuck off, man. I'm a visionary. Like, move on.
You see that cap? Hella cap right now. Hella cap. I don't know why. He loves Nosa. Loves it, fam. He loves it.
Moving on. Obviously, everyone remembers the Newcastle French Revolution era. Alan Pardew driving the ball. Obviously, one of the main guys. Hassan Ben Arfa, absolute killer. It was cold. I don't even know what season it was. I'm looking at it right now. I don't know what season it was, but
it was a cluster of a couple seasons still.
But that goal against all I can remember that goal against Everton where he picked.
Oh yeah.
Box, took on like 3 challenges. He was skipping it and just slotted it in. I'm sure everyone remembers Hassan Ben Arfa.
Yeah.
No, sir. Talk to me about Hassan Ben Arfa. What's your memories on him? Tell me about him.
You know, obviously Ben Arfa is French, innit? Like when you think of Ben Arfa, you think of like the silkiness, the quick feet, that sweet left foot, you know. And he's coming from that what they call it, the '87 generation, like him, Benzema, and Nasri. Like obviously he didn't live up to the heights of Benzema and stuff, but he was very entertaining to the eye for all the casual fans in the Premier League. Like he didn't even live up to his name in the French team. Like that was very disappointing. I think he should have made a big move after his highlights at Newcastle, but he showed what he can do in it. Like did he went to PSG? Oh yeah, he did. Oh my days, he went to PSG. But obviously he wasn't too successful there, so that was unfortunate. So yeah. Did he go PSG?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, fuck, like
he got 17 goals for Nice. He got 17 goals for Nice and got moved to PSG.
Oh man, that's sad, like. Yeah, but yeah, that's my take on him.
Yeah, so I just checked it now. He told me his best season was 11-12. I think he got 5 goals in the Premier League that season. I think he got 7 overall. But yeah, I think Ben Arfa, he's one of like he's quite a mercurial talent, just in terms of like he's a very like he's like once in a generation type player in the time, like how he's just able to glide past players. Like I don't think you can teach that to someone. Like he's born with the ability to glide past players, to dribble past players, the close control and the sweet left foot. So, like
I think it's the cage guns.
What do you say?
I think it's like that cage football. Is that cage football? You see that Morris?
He's like he's a example of a streets won't forget football. Just in terms of you can see he originated from the streets and just like you can see it in his game quite well. And I think he's quite unfortunate to be in that era because I feel like in that era, managers don't really know how to deal with that type of player. So
you're right with that one. Yeah.
Like he's not your average player. Like I feel like you need to sort of like not baby him, but like you need to like understand him. Like take time to understand him, what he's good at, his strengths, like what he likes. Like he's not your average player. Like you see it like Dennis Rodman in Last Dance. The same way Phil Jackson took time to understand him. Like you need to. I don't think like you get all these newspapers saying that Ben Arfa was, I don't know, like he's bad attitude, this, that. Like I don't know. Like I don't know Ben Arfa personally, but just take time to understand him, what he's good at, and sad to be able to feel his talent because he's a very talented footballer.
I think with Ben Arfa, it's like the usual thing with a lot of foreign players. If they don't do certain things or act a certain way, they get brushed with the bad attitude sort of brush. And with there's managers that were back then that could get the best out of many players, even like ones with bad attitudes and everything, well, so-called bad attitudes. But I think those type of players just needed a manager that would get the best out of them as a person before they got the best out of them as a player. Because Pardew did get a lot out of Ben Arfa, and like the stats may not contribute, but that was not a stats era back then, which was great because we just saw the player and he was dangerous. It was the fact that Newcastle couldn't finish. He would have had much more assists. Maybe if he was in better team, he would probably get more goals just because of the position he would have been in, better coaching. A lot of that, there's a lot of little bits, little details in football that people forget that make players better than what they are. Like United, especially United, how we won certain titles with Cleverley, Anderson, even Eric Jemba at one point. How did we even win titles like that? You know what I mean? There's little details that will get you to the top, and I think he just missed that with wherever he went. He made some bad career moves. PSG wasn't the best for him, but I guess it was a dream move for him. So, but he was definitely, like you said, Peter, once a sort of generation player. The way he could skip past people because no one could touch him when he was in full flow.
Go on, Ty. It seems like you want to say something about him.
No, I agree with most points that everyone's made. I just like Adrian said. I think he picked up on a key point. I think it's the team that you're playing in can have a huge effect on your performance. You know what I mean? And I think Ben Arfa is one of them players that, like Peter was saying, you kind of need to look towards. You need to kind of get your playing style and almost just get everything suited towards him. Make sure that he's happy. He's a player that needs to be happy to perform well. And if he's not happy, or you know what I mean, if something's wrong, I guess he's just not going to perform to the best of his abilities. You know what I mean? And I feel at Newcastle, one of the reasons why it probably didn't work out at PSG is because when you're at PSG, you're surrounded by a bunch of world-class players, or not, if not world-class players, the best players in the league. And if you're not considered to be the main point, if you're not the one that everyone relies on, I guess it's going to be hard for a player like Ben Arfa to really showcase his talent, like say at Newcastle, where everyone's watching him. Do you know what I mean? People double him, and he's allowed to wriggle out. He's allowed to try different things. He's allowed to play his way out of trouble, getting out of tight spaces in midfield, dribbling past players. You know what I mean? But at a team like PSG, if you try and beat one too many players, it's a thing of, I'm free, I'm available, like, pass the ball, let's get it moving. I'm as good as you, almost. So I guess that's probably one of the reasons why he didn't really make it at a bigger club. Do you know what I mean? Whereas someone like Eden Hazard can affect a game just as much as Ben Arfa, but be as good as a team player as the best players. Do you know what I mean? A player that you would want to play with.
I think the point to that, I just want to ask you guys a question. Like, so with a player like Ben Arfa, you see with Hazard as well. Like, I feel like the team, like you said, the team needs to like sort of build around him. So like you cater to Ben Arfa. You cater to Ben Arfa. Like he's your main attacker. You cater the team to like around him. You build a team around him. But is he good enough for you to build that team around him? I think that's the main dilemma that the managers probably have. Do you guys think Ben Arfa is good enough for you to build the team around him? I'll ask you, Ben, as well, Ty. What's your opinion on that?
I do believe that he was, but the problem at Newcastle was, do you know why? The problem at Newcastle was he didn't have enough players that were going to be looking for him all the time. They were just looking to survive.
Well, I think they had a good team, though. Yeah, so you're talking about Demba Ba.
No.
You say, you're going to buy.
Of course, but they had Pardew who was just there to survive. They were there to settle. They weren't really looking for expansive stuff, expansive football. Just looking to settle, get the points, get past relegation, whatever comes out after. Cool. If you put him, it may sound crazy, put him in Everton's team, a team that's looking to get somewhere. Put him on the wing for Everton. They would look for him. They will look for him all the time. They'll probably build the team more around him, suited to.
But I'm saying, so my point is like, so you put him on the wing. You have to say to Ben Arfa to get the best out of him. Don't track back. You do your thing out there. Cool. Like the centre mid will cater to you, will try and drift to your side and try and do your responsibilities. But is he that good enough for you to say, okay, we're a defensive unit, but you don't have to do anything? Like, will you sacrifice one player's position just for him?
I think he was. Personally, I do think he was. It's just you didn't see enough of it probably at the time, and that is unfortunate. But I do think he had the ability to, but that's different from actually the end product. I think the ability was all there. The mindset probably wasn't all there. The mentality wasn't all there, but the ability for sure was definitely there. No, 100% no doubt.
Yeah,
I
think?
agree.
You know what?
Hold on. Let Ben just think.
I don't think so. I think he was good enough. The guys that come to mind about like covering their side is like Payet and guys that are like you give them the ball at one moment and be like, bro, we need you right now. Like, I don't think Ben Arfa had it at times. Obviously, when you're at them teams that you need to build around, you need it all the time, every game, innit? I don't think he had it every game.
Yeah.
He's like,
that's a good point.
I agree with Ben. That's what I was gonna say. I agree with Ben.
When he wants to like turn up in it, so I don't think he's like that able enough for you to be like, oh, we'll build a team around you. So to Peter's point, nah, not really. He's a good player. Wrong.
That's what I want to just. Yeah, I want to piggyback on. I want to piggyback on Ben's like point there. I just think like. I think Ben Arfa, he hasn't got like the ability for every game. You count on him you lead your chance creation, your goals, your assists, like for him to just every game consistently deliver at the highest. He's flashes in glimpses of like a mercurial talent. But I don't think like Hazard, you can count on him sort of every game to produce something, that magic, boom. But I feel like Payet as well. Payet is unlucky we didn't see honourable mention to Payet as well. He's a street footballer, but we're lucky to see him in the Premier League just in terms of like I feel like he's a bit more smarter than Ben Arfa. He's able to play in systems, more systems where he's more tactically flexible and he can do his defensive work a little bit more whilst being the main like attacker. So you see that with West Ham, so that with France as well in the Euros. He's able to play from the left wing and he's more tactically aware and he's able to play to more manager systems like. And that's why I think Payet is maybe I think he's a level upper than Ben Arfa.
True, but they are very completely different type players. One's a dribbler, one's more of a creator more than anything.
Yeah, but you still have to neglect I think them type of players you have to give a free role to. It's up to the manager who decides he's the better.
You know that question that you just said there, Pierre. To me, that just brings to the point of Zaha. You know, like even though they're a lower club, they've catered the team towards him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they've focused on Zaha. Even like Crystal Palace, we don't win the most games, but our objective is to stay mid-table or like avoid relegation. And I think if that was Newcastle's objective for Ben Arfa, I think they could have done that easy, like sweep it. But obviously there was more to it. I don't know, innit? There was a personal issues between him and the manager and the like whatever it was, innit? So I don't know.
Real quick, I feel like one player that doesn't get enough credit for, like Peter said, almost being that focal point and almost getting a free role within a team to really showcase their talent and it actually working is Riyad Mahrez. And at Leicester, I think that's the main example of allowing a player to just do whatever. You still have to work back as a team because they played two blocks of four and Vardy up with Okazaki, and Riyad Mahrez was allowed to really stay high in that attacking, and he worked that position to like you ain't never gonna get a player to work it like that. He played so well, skill, goals, assists. The boy could beat anyone that they played with no fear. I think Newcastle didn't have that same push with the fans actually expecting them to get past the big teams. You know what I mean? The top teams wouldn't really expect them to get past them. I think that's the difference between a team like Leicester that actually allowed a player to really work his magic on the pitch. And with Ben Arfa at Newcastle, I don't think he had the same license. If he did, to Peter's question, in a team like, I don't know, maybe a team like Leicester and you replace Riyad Mahrez, maybe if he added a couple more goals to his game, then, you know, I reckon, like Adrian said, I reckon he could do it. But if you ain't getting enough goals, then I'd probably say you know, it's going to be a struggle. You need to get goals if you're going to be allowed to be. If your manager's going to say, yo, you don't have to defend as much as these lot, and you're not scoring, it's almost like
you need output. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just like that. I feel like the main thing would be you need to provide a bunch of goals, and I don't think he really had the consistency in his game to get goals consistently. You know what I mean? So to Peter's question, I'd say no. I don't think I would trust building my attack around Ben Arfa.
Yep, but we still respect him. Streets will never forget him. Obviously, moving on. The next guy we have is Adel Taarabt. Everyone knows. The street baller still. He brought like the flair onto the pitch. Seriously. I'm gonna go to Nosa on this one. Nosa, talk to the fans about Adel Taarabt.
You know what, Taarabt, his light really shined in the championship prior to his first season that he came to the Prem. Obviously, he's still done his work in the Prem, but it wasn't what we wanted to see, you know. But I think like Taarabt, in a sense, he eclipses that street footballer, that cage footballer that just does skills for fun, but like with no like remorse to his opponent. You know, like it was unfortunate that we didn't get to see the most out of him in the Prem, but I think his championship season was great. It was beautiful. Like I watched the promotion game. I think he scored in that game. I'm not too sure, but I watched that promotion game like when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. How long ago it was? But it was a nice game. He showcased a lot of talent, a lot of skills, and yeah, like just again, it was just unfortunate to not see it in the Prem. Yeah, so that's about it.
I'll go to you on the next one, Ty. Tell me about Taarabt.
Taarabt is simply one of them guys. It's like that's just like the schoolballer that made it. Like, do you know what I mean? The boy has so much confidence in his bag. Like, I don't think he cared. I don't think he cared who he was up against. You know? No, seriously, I don't think he cared who he was up against. Whether there was world class names on the other side, it didn't matter. It's Meg's all round skills. You know what I like most about Taarabt? It was natural flair. Like he actually just played the game with flair. That's what he knew, and you really couldn't take it out of his game, regardless of what system he was playing. If it was route one, the boy's still finding Megs. If it's tiki taka, he's still trying to Meg. He's still trying to work flair on the pitch, and I think that's the best thing about football players that like him. Natural flair, just players that. It's not forced. They just love playing the way football in that way. So yeah, man, love watching him play. Adrian,
I'll go to you next as well. Tell me about Adel Taarabt, please.
Oh, one of my favorites. Like Ty said, stuck to what he knew, and that's why I hated when pundits back then. This was when pundits were first becoming a thing, and they were like, "Oh, you shouldn't try with these skills and that." I was like, this is what makes football great and actually entertaining. We don't want to see robotic Kevin De Bruyne whips.
Hey.
Let me talk.
Let me talk.
Go on, bro. Go on.
We want to see flair. This is why I love players like Neymar, Mahrez. Look, Mahrez and Zaha are probably the last few pure, like, skillful ballers we have in the league. And that's what we're missing. We've missed all these players that bring us joy. Remember one player, great, JJ Okocha. The great JJ Okocha brought so much joy to my game. That's what made me enjoy football. I used to love just doing skills. That's what made me enjoy it. And then all became efficiency and all that. Of course, that's great and all that. But Adel Taarabt made me actually want to watch QPR games. Like, who wants to watch QPR play?
Facts.
That's why people turned on a QPR game if it was on Sky. They would watch Adel Taarabt. Any skills, anything he'd done, he was just so enjoyable, and he made everything he'd done just looked. It was aesthetically pleasing. Everything he'd done, even his finishes. I remember when in the championship, when he nutmegs someone, and then he comes around, rolls it with his right foot, and then outside the boot bottom corner, like. Players just don't do that with that sort of arrogance.
That's one of my favourite goals of all time, man.
Yeah, don't play, like, championship or not, you just don't try them things. That's a training ground thing, and he just played it like it was like a playground game, and that's what I enjoyed about him. Top. Streets will never forget him for me.
The
one and only.
Yeah, so when Ty was speaking, sorry for the listeners, I was just doing that little flick that Taarabt does, that little shimmy the shoulders. That when he gets the ball, he does that shimmy. Yeah, it's peak still. It's either going through your legs or something's about to happen. Something's about to happen. Joe Allen, I think Joe Allen knows about that. The way he's a nuts, Joe Allen and Mark Noble.
He scored on one of them as well, you know.
Yeah,
as well, you know.
He's I think, to be honest, the Streets Won't Forget, I think that originates from Taarabt. If I was to say, summarize what Streets Won't Forget means, it means Taarabt. He plays like a cage footballer without any instructions from management, without any tactical just changes or tactical you know what I mean? See how I think it's more a change of today's game of just how managers want to be able to control every sort of detail of the game, and just how they want to control you, what you are out of position, in transition, on their attack. No, Taarabt just plays freely, with the ball. Give me the ball, I want to express myself. And it's more to do with just how the game's evolved than him being a sort of a bad player. That's what I think anyway.
I think that's what the entertainment source of football is about. People can't, they just want bending at Beck's efficiency 24/7.
Yeah, it's managers just want efficiency.
When fans that don't really watch football on 24s, that's what they want to see. They want to see the nutmegs. They want to see you doing flip around a player, stuff like that. I don't know.
I feel
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that season, the championship, wow. I think he got 20-something goals, 18, 19 assists.
Stupid numbers.
That's output every single game. Literally every game he's getting a goal or assist. That's crazy numbers. But I think it just goes to my point again. I think he also suffered from. So he played his best football under Neil Warnock under the championship, and then Harry Redknapp came as well, and Harry Redknapp liked him. But I think QPR were going through a transition in that time, so they kept switching around managers. And obviously Taarabt is another character where you have to understand him, the way he plays, and where to play him, and he's a 10 who also play left mid, but when he's left mid, he's probably not as effective. So I think he just suffered from changing of managers. Chris Ramsey came in, and as well, so I think he just suffered of a lot of managerial changes, and just but he's another one. I feel you have to build a team around him, so he has to be the focal point. Everything has to go through him, chance creation, goals, assists. You need to build a tech around him, and I don't know. I feel in the Premier League, I don't think he was good enough for you to build a team around him, unfortunately. But he's a top footballer, and I think it shows the way he's readjusted his game to be a deep line playmaker now. But I don't think he was good enough for you to really be the focal point of a big team. I think Payet could have easily gone to an Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool done the same thing, but I don't think Taarabt would have been able to.
I would have loved to see Taarabt at an Arsenal team. Something different, because they always had pretty. Not.
But if you think, is Taarabt better than Nasri? Is Taarabt better than Fabregas? Is Taarabt? He's not really.
No, but
Nasri would probably look the same as well.
Zaha, I would love to see Zaha at Arsenal as well. There's another player I would love to see at Arsenal. They're just football. Arsenal are the sort of team that allows their players to express themselves a bit more. They're one of the only few teams, apart from maybe United and
back then,
City, to an extent. They were one of the main teams that let their players express themselves and just play football. So I would have loved to see Zaha or a Taarabt or something go there.
About Taarabt is I remember, I think I was in year 8 or year 9. I was with Ty. We were talking about it with our teacher, and he was saying these players only come once in a while where they're not forcing the skills. They just play. They just do the skills because it's in their game. And that's what I remember about him. It wasn't let me do a flip flap now. It was just I need to get out of the situation. Let me do it now. Boom, boom. It was one of them was it's the first instinct. I'm gonna do the skill now. And the goal that Adrian was talking about, where he done a ball roll, he nutmeg someone, done a ball roll, and done outside of the boot. That's one of the greatest goals I've ever seen. It was just crazy.
Cool. So Ben's connection was moving a bit iffy, but so we'll just talk on honourable mentions. What guys do you guys like? When you talk about Streets Won't Forget, who do you really think about, and just who do you want to give a mention to, give a shout out to? I'll start with you, Ty.
You know what? I'll just give out a quick 2. I'll give out Adnan Januzaj, I thought that one just popped up to my mind now. When that season, straight almost after Fergie left, and it was Moyes in charge. Ooh, if he weren't there in that team, United probably would have got relegated. That boy was winning them games every single week. He was playing. Like he was a really good. At one point, people were talking about Madrid taking him, Barca taking him. He ended up signing a huge contract at United. So flair, goals, consistency. Yeah, I liked watching him play. My next one is Aaron Lennon. Lightning on a pitch. The boy could not be stopped by anyone. He would be I don't know why Peter's all moving around, but listen, he'll pick up key goals, an exciting player to watch. Ben, you need to relax.
Key goals against who? Key goals
against Chelsea, against Man United. He won that game against United.
For what?
Can we just listen? Can we just listen?
Top 10?
Can we listen?
Top 10 of the league? Is that what they keep?
You know what? Go on. You go on. You name yours.
Yeah, Ben, name your 2 honourable mentions.
And we'll do another poll.
Honourable mentions that you want to give a shout out to.
You said who? Aaron Lennon and Ravel Morrison?
Januzaj. I didn't mention Morrison. I didn't mention Morrison.
I'm going to go with the man himself. Obviously, that man, obviously, he was playing with Robinho. You might not want to mention Robinho, so I'm just going to come with this guy. You man know what this means already. Picking you man out. This guy was a bad boy. Benjani was the guy.
We're in the mud right now.
Benjani's a big player.
He was not a bad boy. He was an absolute bad boy. Benjani. I have to come back to me on this one still. I need to think about this.
Yeah, I'll come to you, Nosa.
Yeah, Nosa.
Obviously, one of my honourable mentions. If you man don't know, now you know it. I was born in Belgium, so obviously I've got a bit of bias. I like Benteke, innit? He's one of my guys. Like, it's unfortunate how his career has planned out, but he's a cold striker in his time when he was at Villa. And niggas you need to put respect on his name at Villa. Like, come on. Like, niggas look at him think he's some scrub. Like, he was a cold player. Cold player. Like driller. Like niggas were comparing him
to What season? How many goals did he score that season? 20.
Gee, I'm not a stats guy. I don't do stats.
24, 25 that season for Aston Villa.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Why did
I think Benteke,
I don't understand.
Wait. You're talking about Aaron Lennon. You're not saying.
Wait. But one thing that Aaron Lennon can say about Benteke is Aaron Lennon can say he was once the fastest player in the Premier League. Yeah. Benteke. Yeah. You can. I can find a minute.